Alrighty, Master Your Mind, part 4. So we've moved from metacognition through attention to recovery, and now the concept of the reframe. Some people call this cognitive behavioral therapy. Again, when you really are clear about your thoughts being the object of your attention, you can start to test them a little bit, explore them more carefully, challenge them a little bit, and maybe put them slightly differently. This is what we do with reframing. So instead of having those simple, intuitive, type 1, lazy thinking patterns, we now move to much more structured, constructive, and what Daniel Kahneman called type 2 thinking. And this, of course, is your base for flow. So if we go through this in simple things, these are your tools for mental agility. It's also termed, by the way, situational agility, sometimes situational awareness. The first step here is you've got to analyze the content and the structure of your thoughts. So now maybe this is a good time when you notice something going on in your head, stop, take a break somewhere in the day, write it down, journal it. So you start being a little bit more detailed about the way you think. Right, and you'll start to see patterns. Martin Seligman had a great idea. Look for personalizing. I always means a sort of permanence in your life, and pervasiveness. It affects all or less of my life. So we'll come to an example of that. So step 2 then asks you, when you sense that thinking, to begin to test it, to try to make that thought more specific. In this situation, temporary, okay, just this once, and it's inclusive, all people, all right, or you and I, or we. Very important terms. Can I be specific, temporary, and inclusive in my thinking or my explanations? Step 3, to begin to evaluate your options from different points of view. So what might so-and-so do? I wonder what someone in this situation does. Have I seen an example of this done differently? Start to get creative. You know, a lovely term I once learned many years ago, I think it was in martial arts. You know, someone said, when you're facing a wall that you can't get over, remind yourself there are 7 ways to get over that wall. You just haven't thought about them yet. There's always a different option. Look, be curious, don't give up too soon. And the 4th one, you're going to have to drill these. So if you notice, for example, as I said earlier, you have a short and a cheap thought, he always. Well, if you can drill, sometimes he can be irritating. All people can be irritating. You need to keep reminding yourself that there's a different way to express what, in many cases, you are feeling. An athlete, an expert performer, practices this over and over and over again. So that when they step into a difficult situation, all right, or they're under pressure, that new thought, structured, specific, temporary, and inclusive, is ready to rock. All right, there's mental agility. Some examples here. So a type 1 error, remember what I said is the silly thinking or not so clever thinking, the intuitive way, Daniel Kahneman's type 1. I've always been clumsy in everything I do. So here we see it has become permanent, it's become pervasive, and it's become personal. All right, not helpful. A type 2 correction might be something like, okay, that moment was clumsy. No one is perfect. So here we're being temporary, specific, and inclusive. And the reframe might be, how do you take this not just to a better way of thinking, type 2, but a full reframe to be constructive and useful. So it might go something like this: apologies. I dropped X, Y, Z. I will practice and improve that. We've acknowledged it, possibly apologized. You've committed to change, and you're going to improve. All right. So reframing is to take that destructive, simplistic thinking to make it constructive and precise. Good luck with that. It's good hard work. You're going to have to drill it.